Throughout the course of time, people have been coming up with their own Dragon Ball Z related theories, and while some of them are cool, they just don't make any sense. But when you find a theory that does make sense and is actually good at the same time, it may be worth checking it out. So here are 7 Dragon Ball Z fan theories that aren't actually that bad. The first theory is that Goku died while fighting Frieza on Namek but then got wished back. I know that's way out there, but again keep in mind this is a theory not actually confirmed. So basically how it goes, when Goku and Frieza were clashing in their energy struggle, Frieza actually won and knocked Goku into lava. And considering in the anime Goku didn't get up for a while, people think that Goku died. However, around this time King Kai was planning on wishing everybody killed by Frieza and his men back to life. So that means that Goku would have been able to come back and eventually defeat Frieza. And this theory kind of makes sense if you believe everything you read. There are 2 facts that debunk this theory entirely. Number 1, it wasn't in the manga. In the manga, Goku actually got straight back up and continued fighting. Number 2, which is unrefutable evidence, Goku already got wished back once before by Shannon at the start of the series, and as you guys know, during that time the dragon couldn't bring back a person twice. Moving on to the next theory, which I think is entirely possible. The theory proposes that Gohan, as the Great Saiyan Man, has a subconscious memory of the Ginyu Force, and that's why he poses the way he does. And if I'm being completely honest, this actually makes sense. Gohan, as a 5-year-old child, was traumatized by the Ginyu Force. In fact, he had his neck broken by Raccoon and looked like he was knocked out. He literally couldn't do anything until Goku showed up and gave him a senzu bean. That would traumatize anybody, let alone a 5-year-old child. So the theory states that Gohan subconsciously, as the Great Saiyan Man, performs those poses because the Ginyu Force had such a large influence on his childhood. Moving on to the next theory, it is the Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 God theory. Now that's quite a title, but I do feel like this theory, even though I did make a video on this ages ago, this was actually one of my first videos, I still think, even though it doesn't make much sense now with the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, I believe that this is still one of the most interesting Dragon Ball Z theories out there. And since I have made a video on it before, I don't want to spend too much time on it, so really briefly, the theory goes as follows. In the Baby Saga of Dragon Ball GT, Goku requests the energy of Gohan, Goten, Pan, and Gohan. That is 4 pure-hearted Saiyans. If Goku had one more Saiyan, he would have right then and there turned into a god. Basically, the rest of the theory goes, if Goku kept his energy from the Saiyans and then fused with Vegeta, he would have gotten the energy of the 5th Saiyan, therefore turning Gogeta into a god. And that's basically it. As to how likely this is, I would say not very likely, purely because I don't see how Goku could have held on to the energy from the Baby Saga all the way through to the Shadow Dragon Saga. Moving on to the next theory, we have probably the most controversial theory on this list. It is that Frieza is the representation of Adolf Hitler in Dragon Ball Z. Now, I originally saw this theory as people just looking way too far into things, but you can quite easily draw similarities between the two. They both had an army, they both were dictators. Frieza in a way was the dictator of the entire universe, and they both died at their own hand. I don't think this was intended at all. I just don't see Toriyama having that kind of intent, but you can't deny the similarities are there. Moving on to the next one, we have the Super Saiyan 5 theory. This theory suggests that there is a Super Saiyan 5, and I'm going to be honest, I don't like this theory. It's not the fact that it's a Super Saiyan 5 and Super Saiyan 5 isn't what Toriyama envisioned. In fact, I actually think the idea behind a Super Saiyan 5 is pretty cool, but we have all these fans thinking that Super Saiyan 5 is one of the best Dragon Ball Z theories of all time. I'll admit it's a cool concept, but it's not a good theory, because a good theory has evidence behind it. Super Saiyan 5 has no groundwork. There has been nothing officially stated, even in GT. The only thing said in GT about a Super Saiyan 5 was in episode 55, Bulma tells Vegeta that the use of her new machine, that new machine obviously being the Blutz waves, could make Vegeta go up to a Super Saiyan 5. However, this wasn't meant to be taken seriously, as Super Saiyan 5 doesn't exist, and it can't be used as evidence because it was most likely just a joke. Taking out the next one, we have the theory of Bulma's mother actually being an android. Now this stems from her never seeming to age. If you go back and see where she first appeared in Dragon Ball, and then go to the very end of Dragon Ball Z or even Dragon Ball Super, you can see that she looks more or less the same. In the end of Dragon Ball Z, she's actually in her late 60s, and I don't know if any of you guys have seen an almost 70-year-old who looks like that, but I sure as hell haven't. So the only explanation that the fans have been able to come up with is that she is an android. Her husband is the famous Dr. Brief, and he easily could have made an android similar to the design of Dr. Giro's. Taking out the final theory of this video, we have something that will be revealed to us in due time. This is the theory about how Dragon Ball GT is going to be one of the 12 universes in Dragon Ball Super. And honestly, I can't prove or disprove this theory. We will most likely find out sometime next year. If you're asking me personally, there's no way Dragon Ball GT is even going to have any relation to Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball GT is its own separate thing. And like I said before, this is going to be the only theory that we actually get an answer to. Definitely sometime next year, hopefully early next year. But until then, let me know some of your favorite Dragon Ball Z related theories. There are a countless amount of theories out there, so I'm bound to have missed at least one. But as always, I will see you in the next Dragon Ball Z video.